हेलो एंड अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन। मेरा नाम अब्दुल्ला कश्मीर वाला, मेरा ताल्लुक़ कराची से है और 15 ईयर्स ओल्ड हूँ। आज की मेरी गेस्ट एक बहुत ही टैलेंटेड इंसान है, जो एक लव गुरु है, एक कोच है और एक टीचर भी है। और इसके अलावा वो और भी बहुत कुछ करते हैं, जिनका नाम है डॉक्टर सिंथिया स्टोन। आइए इनसे इनके बारे में और जानते हैं।
Assalamu alaikum.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम। हाउ आर यू?
I am amazing. How are you?
I'm fine. So can you briefly introduce yourself to my viewers?
Absolutely, it would be my honor. So, I am Dr. Cynthia Stone, the honorary doctor of love, a global relationship guru. And I started off wanting to be the change I wanted to see in the world. I was always aware that there was something different about me. I would walk in a room and I would feel the energy of the people around me. So if somebody was sad, I would suddenly feel sad and I wouldn't really know why. Also, if they were feeling happy, I'd feel happy and wouldn't know why. So I felt really compelled to, really be of service to humanity, recognizing that these gifts are unique abilities and are gifts from God. That prompted me to go into the healing profession, where I started on a journey inward, onward, and upward. I went into psychology and realized, well, maybe that's not the way I'm supposed to help people. I didn't really want to dispense medication. I wanted more to draw upon people's strengths. And that prompted me to do more looking. And I ended up coming across something called the community worker, which is similar to a lot of the great leaders of our time, who are able to draw on people's strengths and lead and become, really the unity within the community and help people draw upon their own strengths and build upon the progress they're already making. So I did that. And then I went on to addictions counseling, because I recognized a lot of people are either running from themselves or running to something else. And so the addiction component was important for that. And then I ended up going into getting a bachelor's degree and then a master, because I realized, if you want to be really good at something, you have to be the best you can be. So that prompted me to do that. And then I was awarded the PhD, an honorary doctorate in advocacy for my work in humanity. So that is a bit about me, really, exploring the capacity for people to learn to love themselves and then extend that love to all of humanity.
Wow. Can you tell me, why did you want to become a doctor?
Well, I never actually intended to be a doctor. It was one of those things where it was awarded to me. I had thought that I wanted to help people in the healing world. And I guess obviously the most obvious thing you could think of is a doctor in terms of being able to heal people. But for me, I had noticed that the trend for doctors, at least my experience, had been really pushing medication. And I always felt that we have within us what we already need. We don't need anything external. Like, obviously, in some cases, it's pretty severe and you might need that. But what I was looking at to do with my life was just to draw upon what we already have, feeling that we're already born into this world perfect, whole, and complete with no problems. Like, we're just perfect beings because we're products of God, and God is perfect. So if we are his reflection, therefore, I just really wanted to be that voice, help people realize that they are already, so perfect, so pure, so amazing, and that nothing added is necessary.
Wow. Amazing. Can you tell me, what are you planning for your future?
Ooh, yeah, that is a good question. What am I planning for my future? I think I really want to build on the momentum. I want to reach over 1 million people, just with the message that they are the love. They are a product of love, and they are
I
love.
think
You think I heard his voice? Not sure. I guess I will continue. And then if I hear my friend, were you saying something? Because you froze. All right, I will continue, my friend. Yeah, it's really
no, no.
about building on the
I was
momentum.
thinking.
Oh, you weren't? Okay. There seems to be some technical glitch. I think our energy is so amazing in this broadcast. But yes, I really want to build on the momentum, reach as many people as I can with this message that we are love, we are derived from love, and the change starts with us. That if we see injustice anywhere, it's a threat to justice everywhere. That the work really needs to start internally. That as we heal ourselves, as we learn to love ourselves and embrace our true nature, we will be able to accept the love of others and be the love for others. Like people will feel that. Everything is energy and people feel that. You radiate that. As you do the healing, your whole world changes. You know, so as we change ourselves, everything we look at changes. And so when people are dealing with a lot of hate or a lot of abuse, we need to look inside. And so my message to humanity is really one of, let's heal ourselves so that we can heal humanity as a whole. And so I think that that is, you know, what I'm going to continue to do. I have plans to put out a book. I've signed on with a publisher, so that's coming out. I'm going to be doing public speaking, you know, in person as well as on these broadcasts. Very grateful for that. I'm doing more work in the TV realm in terms of getting the message out in that capacity as well. And I just really want to continue on this formation, really empowering people to step into their highest self so that we can have a world that we can be proud of to pass on to generations that follow.
Wow. Okay. Can you tell me like for how long have you been you have been coaching? Because you have also been a life coach as I have read in your CV. So
Yes.
Can you tell me for how long have you been a coach?
Absolutely. I would say, yeah, the coaching that I got, the certification was in 2002. So it's been 18 years, but on and off. I wasn't doing it consistently throughout. I was starting, I did it for about 10 years. Then I took a break, did some more self-work because realized that I need to be the change I want to see in the world. It has to start with me. And then as I transmuted and transformed any lingering trauma, which obviously is an ongoing work. Everybody has, you know, remnants of their past that we need to work through and break through to become better, brighter, more beautiful versions of ourselves. So that is a never-ending process. And if you're watching this, my friends, and you're feeling like, oh, you know, I'm broken and I can't be repaired, my friends, you are sorely mistaken. Turn your broken pieces into masterpiece because you are a masterpiece. You have a piece of the master within you. And that's something that I've been ongoing. So I coach myself as well as coach others. I'd say cumulatively, it's probably been about 15 years.
Yeah. You're very right. So here's a little bit of question for you. Will you ever visit Pakistan if you get the option to visit Pakistan? Will you ever visit Pakistan?
Absolutely. The moment I can, I am coming. Oh, I can't wait. I am absolutely fascinated and in love with the people, the culture. I mean, everything. I just think it will be such an amazing experience. And I can't wait to try the food too. Yay.
Okay. I want to ask you a question. How can a person remove the fear of failure?
Absolutely. I would say if you try to remove something, it's not like, it's kind of like when people say, I want to lose weight. What do you do when you lose something? You want to go try and find it. So there's power in words. I would say that part of the journey of self-love is recognizing that you are perfect, whole, and complete. And that means that you are going to have suffering to appreciate compassion. You're going to have pain to appreciate pleasure, that it's all part of the duality. And without failure, you wouldn't appreciate success. It's a part of it. It's actually part of the journey. Any successful person has failed on the way to the top. That's a whole part of it. And I think a lot of times we try to avoid it. We're afraid of it. We don't want to deal with it. But it's something necessary, that on the other side of risk is that amazing, you know, success that you're longing for. That when we were kids, we were learning to walk and we would like stumble and fall on our face and hurt ourselves, but we got back up and we did it because that's a part of the journey. that we had to fall before we learned to walk. And now look at us. We're walking, we're running, we're leaping, we're going upstairs, and pretty amazing things. So just recognizing that it's okay to fail. In fact, it's all in how you look at it. Is it failure, or is it a chance for you to learn how not to do it? If you're looking at it from a scientific perspective, they always talk about having a hypothesis to prove something. And a lot of times they'll find out that their hypothesis is incorrect. So it's a massive failures to find out what the success is. So recognizing it almost from a scientific perspective that, you know what, I am finding out new ways not to do something. And that is actually bringing me closer to how to do it. Because look at Thomas Edison. How many times did he try with the light bulb? You know, and then the 10,000th time, bingo! You know, he could have looked at himself as a big fat failure. But in fact, he had a bright idea that might have taken time, literally, but he absolutely made, you know, shed light on the subject of what failure truly is and how it's a journey to success.
You're very right. So I want to add another thing is that it is called temporary defeat. So some people like fail, they just give up on the temporary defeat. Some people, they say like, I can't do it, and then they give up. And so, like people like Thomas Edison, Bill Gates, and many like Rehan, Allahwala, Azad Chaiwala, and there are many more. So they faced temporary defeats, but they did not face it. They did not look it like a temporary defeat. They said like, yes, it's a defeat. Now I will learn more. Now I will not do the same mistake that I did before. So what do you think about it?
You raise a very good point, because exactly, it's temporary. It's all how you talk to yourself. If you look at it as a defeat, that becomes like you start wearing the failure. But if you look at it as a setback, gearing you for a setup for success, then you're talking to yourself differently and you're motivating yourself. So don't allow yourself to talk yourself out of something. You're so close. Just keep going.
Okay. Okay, I've seen your last interview. So you told in the last interview that you have written a book. So can you tell me, did you complete that book?
Well, I would say that it is a work in progress. I've completed the manuscript. I've submitted it to the publisher. I've gotten the okay, so I'm super excited for that. Now it's finalizing the details, going through minor revisions, editing the final copy, and getting people on board for it. So I think that I'm probably going to fatten it up with a bit more examples. You know, there's always something that I can add to it, but as a whole, it is complete. Like the idea is there, it's already put into practice. I already have the amount of words that I need. So it's definitely something that is on its way. They said that it takes between 9 months to a year to come out, just because there are different steps involved when you sign on with a publisher. And I like the idea of having a publisher rather than doing it myself. A lot of people will self-publish, but I believe that, you know, having those connections in the publishing world and being able to work with true professionals that have been able to help countless other amazing authors is something that I really wanted to do. So I'm excited for that. And it's almost like a baby, like 9 months. I'm like, oh, I'm going to birth my new book. So it's exciting. Yeah, I'm very excited.
I wish your book comes soon. Inshallah, I will read that book if I get the chance. So Absolutely. Can you tell me, what have you achieved until now? What do you think are your achievements?
What have I achieved until now? I would say that like one by one, I'm checking off a live list, you know, so people talk about a bucket list, you know, things I'll do before I die. I'm like, no, things I'll do while I'm alive. That's what it's all about. So I have an ongoing list of goals where I always want to accomplish more and more to live a life of purpose on purpose. And they say that the practice of writing down goals and reminding yourself of them is really crucial in living a fulfilling, happy life. So for me, I wanted, for example, to go to the Emmys. I got to go to the Emmys. I wanted to be able to overcome my fear of public speaking, and I've been able to do that. I recognize that it's not fear at all. It's excitement. Like, that's what I'm feeling, you know? So Being able to help people help themselves. And I realized that as much as I was helping people in the past, I had to be the change. You know, I had to work on myself. And so obviously that's an ongoing process, like I told you. And every day I do something to, you know, to help myself, to make myself a better version of myself. And that means, you know, doing the things I don't necessarily want to do. Like, I'm not someone that likes to work out. Even the word work, I'm like, oh no. But I find things I like doing, like dancing, walking, you know, things like that, where I'm just like, oh, you know, it's not really working. It's still like utilizing and exercising my muscles, but it's not, you know, something torturous. So finding a way to enjoy my life and do the things I need to do. I'm also like, you know, stepping more into the marketing world, which is something I never thought but I realized we're always selling. Like, you know, you're either, you know, selling yourself in some way. Like when people talk to you, are you bringing value? You know, so looking at it from that perspective, like I'm surrounded by marketers, and I always had like kind of a negative feeling like, oh, they're going to try to sell me something. But I realized that it's about recognizing your value. And as you recognize your value, you attract better opportunities, better possibilities. I mean, that's why I'm here with you right now, because it's a great win-win. I get to speak with someone of your caliber. I get to, you know, talk to your audience. Like, it's just truly an honor, and thank you for that. So being able to strengthen and enhance my my audience, you know, just being able to talk to more people, and such beautiful people, the people from Pakistan, I'm so honored. Like I never knew, you know, we never know what we never know. And I'm just so excited, and I can't wait to go to Pakistan. That's on my list, truly. So I want to travel. So that's something I'm gearing up towards once this, you know, pandemic is, you know, calmed down and passed. I plan to travel. So I would say that I've traveled already. So that is something that I have done. Like I got to go to Africa, which is something I always wanted to do. And I just really want to keep expanding my reach in that capacity. I was supposed to go to Europe for a movie, but then they put it on hold with this happening. So I'm hoping to still do that as well. I have started, you know, like I wanted to write a book, and I was able to do that. I'm now submitting for magazines. Like I'm a writer on a Soulful Image magazine, different magazines. So I'm really excited for that. Grateful for those opportunities, and just to continue expanding. I want to also do more in the music realm. So I have actually got an album out there where it was a joint album for the acting world. I want to be able to put out my own music and have my own feel for that as well. So there's things on the horizon, things that I've already accomplished. I'm very grateful. I think maybe doing more in oh yeah, there's so many things. Oh my gosh, my mind's racing. I'm so excited. But I think it's just really about finding what appeals to you and just really embracing that. I love doing humanitarian work. I want to do more of that. I want to be able to like build wells, to bring clean drinking water to communities, and to really be a voice for the voiceless. So I want to expand my reach in that capacity as well. I think it's so needed. Where did you go?
Sorry. Can you
Oh,
tell
no
me
worries.
how can you change like negative thoughts into positive thoughts? Can you tell me how can you change negative thoughts into positive thoughts?
Ooh, negative thoughts into positive thoughts. I would say absolutely. It comes down to your self-talk. So really watching yourself, watching how you talk to yourself. And you'll often not even realize that you're saying negative things to yourself, but you start feeling like really lousy. So like, have you ever noticed how people that are depressed, they work at it? To be depressed requires a lot of energy and effort. And I think a lot of people don't realize how good they are at it. Like you can be really good at being happy, but you can also be really good at being sad. And both take the same amount of effort and energy. So what I find is if I am feeling really defeated and have sad thoughts and are debilitated by that, you know, you start developing pain, you start noticing your posture is different. So depressed people, if you notice how they carry themselves, they tend to have very hunched posture. They tend to be looking down. They have more of a softer, lower voice. They talk slower. They're not as happy. But so if you want to change your state physiologically, put your shoulders back, raise your chin, and smile for 2.5 minutes. Don't do anything else. Just smile for 2.5 minutes, and it will change it. Guaranteed. And I know it sounds crazy, but they actually did a study on depressed people during the war where they were actually just having them do that. And 95% of them actually transformed their trauma and were no longer depressed. So just the act of smiling on itself for 2.5 minutes straight will change your whole demeanor. Also, you can just put your shoulders back, raise your chin, and talk louder and faster. You'll notice that that will actually change your physiology as well. When you find that you are feeling low, just do these things and you'll see. Or raise your eyebrows. As weird as it sounds, raising your eyebrows will actually change your physiological state. Because I think a lot of times what happens is when we're trying to control our thoughts, we can't control them. Like, the mind is a machine. It just works. Like, if you've ever tried to meditate and you're sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I watch all of those TV episodes? That's what happened to me in my first 10-day silent meditation. I was like, oh my gosh, nonstop rerun of all the TV shows I saw. And I was like, this is horrible. And I couldn't stop it. And I was trying to stop it. And I'm like, you know what? Let it go. Just be a witness to your thoughts. Let it go. Let it flow. And it will stop. Eventually it will stop. But you can change your posture. You can change your way of relating to yourself, and you can stop judging yourself. Because you know what? When you judge yourself and you're like, why can't I just do this one thing? All I want to do is to be silent and meditate. When you start beating yourself up like that, it's just going to cause more and more and more feeling of failure, feeling of trauma, so start actually anchoring yourself. And what I do is I start thinking about things that I'm really proud of. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I met this amazing person when I was delivering food to the hungry, and she was so amazing. And we talked about her life, and she's from the Caribbean, and she's so cool, and I just love her. And, you know, like, you can start finding reasons to be happy. And either way you're thinking, but you might as well think positive thoughts that bring you happiness. And then what I would suggest is you do an anchoring technique. So when you're in that happy place right now, then like put your index finger and your thumb together. This is an NLP technique. And when you do that, every time you push those two together now, you'll be able to tap into that happy state. And I would say just start training yourself in that way. And then all of a sudden when you're feeling down, you're doing this and you're like, oh, I feel good. And it will be a little trick between you and I. Nobody else will know. And it will be a way for you to lift out of that depressive state and step into a feeling of being great. Change your state to change your fate.
Very nice. So can you give a last message to my viewers who are watching now and who will watch later?
Absolutely. I would say, first of all, if you are here watching right now, you are here for a reason, my friend. And that reason is because you in your very nature are a miracle. And I know that it's hard to believe sometimes. We have like terrible things that happen to us. We feel defeated. We feel like failures. We feel like giving up, throwing in the towel, especially now when we're surrounded by so much negativity, so much, you know, bad feeling, and feeling remorseful and feeling guilty and feeling like you don't belong here. Well, let me tell you, God doesn't make mistakes. You are here for a reason and not just a season. And it's about recognizing you have gifts that nobody else has. You are perfectly and uniquely made. If you try to like put your fingerprint on something, no one else has your fingerprint. You are designed uniquely. So stop trying to be like everyone else. You're not meant to be a copy. You are an original, and you are perfect in that originality. So start looking at all of the things that you've done that you're proud of. Create a plaque, you know, where you can actually look at it every day and just be like, wow, you know, I'm so proud of myself. I've done that. And maybe have another plaque where you're like, you know what, these are things I want to do. Because you know what, anything that you choose to do, you can. That is the nature of this machine. And so often we focus on all the things we don't want to do, and we end up doing those exact things. So why not use the same technology and change it around to do the things you want to do? Because let me tell you, my friend, you have a dream inside of you, and that dream can happen. Just believe in yourself the way that you deserve to be believed in. Be your own cheerleader. Be your own father. Be your own mother. Be the best friend to yourself, and watch your life change.
Okay. I want to add another thing that you were saying about, you just said. So there's a book you said you said you can't do. It's a very good book. It tells us about self confidence, and it tells us like if you think negative and if you want something that you don't want your life, so you will get that. You will become a victim. When you become a victim, you'll be attacked. And if you said I want this, I want this, I want this, and you should appreciate yourself, so you will get those things that you want. So if anyone who's watching, that it's a very good book, you will read it and you can develop self confidence. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Miss. It's an honor.
Thank you. Yay.
Thank
Such
you,
an
Miss. It's an honor to take an interview. I learned a lot from you.
shukriya. It was such an honor. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Miss. Inshallah, when you will visit Pakistan, I will be with you.
Amazing. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
जी, जैसे कि आपने देखा मेरे बहुत अच्छे गेस्ट थे। ये मैंने इनसे बहुत कुछ सीखा। जहाँ रहें खुश रहें। अगला फिर मुलाकात होगी। अल्लाह हाफिज।